Hello, welcome to another episode of Instrumental Breakthroughs. I'm your host, Daniel Shankin. Instrumental Breakthroughs is a project of TAM Integration. TAM Integration offers psychedelic integration coaching and educational events all around the world and has created psychedelic instrumental breakthroughs to explore the intersection between psychedelics, creativity, and the arts. We are gratefully co-produced by Deadheadland. And Deadheadland TV of San Rafael, California is on the web at deadheadland.com and deadheadland.tv. Look for Deadheadland on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, and more. And on YouTube at deadheadland.films and coming soon to a social network near you. Um, Deadheadland has a Patreon page. And so if you are wanting to support the show, you can do that at patreon.com, Deadheadland, or of course, patreon.com/TAM integration, both of which are very, very deeply appreciated. And of course, going to both of our YouTube pages or iTunes or things like that, sharing with your friends, hanging out on our Discord channel, all that kind of stuff is really, really helpful. In times like this, it's really nice to be able to, share that kind of support. And we certainly appreciate everything that Deadheadland does. And of course, I also want to thank the live stream remote guys for their technical support with the podcast. And then last but not least, I would like to um, thank our unofficial shirt sponsor today is Jammin' On. Marcus, you see, is wearing the Liquid Light collection, and I am wearing the Grateful Dead Skull and Roses collection. So jamminon.com has got you for all of your party shirt needs and more. Um, I'm really happy to be able to welcome my guest today. Marcus Rezak is a recording artist, touring musician, session guitarist, and music theorist. He released his debut album in November 9th, 2018, entitled Gateway to the Galaxy, featured Bill Evans, who is the sax player for Miles Davis, Arthur Barrow, who played bass with Frank Zappa, Kris Myers on drums, and as if every jam is a live recording session. By keeping essentially comprehensive mental notes of what works and what doesn't and how to improve is what led Marcus to the respect in the music world and to such integral heights. Welcome to Instrumental Breakthroughs, Marcus.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Love it.
Yeah, man. Um, and again, yeah, happy to be able to wear matching shirts with you.
Same. Same.
Uh, and so our tagline is psychedelic origin stories of rock and roll superheroes. And so today that is you. You are our rock and roll superhero. And we would love to hear about perhaps some of the psychedelic experiences that were pivotal and instrumental in you breaking through to becoming the glorious being that we behold with eyes of such love today.
Oh, well, thank you so much for the generous words and all the love in that introduction. I appreciate it. Um, you know, I've been playing a long time, and I started playing when I was about 10 years old and stuff. And um, I immediately was drawn to music that was experimental, not as mainstream. Things that were inspiring me in ways that I wasn't quite understanding why at the time, but I was feeling something like, you know, why would this music make me want to be happy or sad, and things like that started to really get into my mind. And then I discovered music like the Grateful Dead, and that led me on the path of improvisation and more in the moment type experiences. And as I grew up in my musical upbringing, I started listening to more bands like in that vein. And one of the first real amazing experiences I had was when I was at the first Bonnaroo in 2002. I was 18 years old and very open to. I was in music school. I was at Berklee College of Music, I was very receptive to all things, and we were there, and I was running wild with my friends, and we took some LSD, and it was fantastic when we were there for the Trey band set. and it was the full band, everything, and it was the closing of the event, and just all the people were there, and it was just one of the greatest experiences that I had, um, prior to really trying my own experience playing on psychedelics. So I think there always starts with something that takes you into an area of inspiration that makes you want to explore more into your own path and create those feelings on your own. So being in that moment and seeing the crowd and the audience and feeling the energy and seeing I was in the front row and it was great. So that made me want to do that, want to be like in that moment all the time. It was just great. So that led me through many things through my time in Boston, and then there are experiences after that where we would have jam sessions all the time, and really just be in a private setting where we could the whole band would take some LSD, and we would try and create things, and it was very safe feeling environment where we could just close our eyes, see the colors and lights from the sounds we were playing with our grin from ear to ear, and just totally connecting in a fourth dimension that's people I don't think can comprehend unless you're actually there and doing it. And being someone who's gets the feeling from music without psychedelics too, that's over the edge. Going there to that extra dimension is sort of like a very eye-opening experience that I think that was pivotal in my early times. So
I like that a lot. I love that you brought in synesthesia, right? Being
mm,
able to see the sounds.
yeah.
And I'm also just really curious about, so you're seeing the sounds, and you're seeing the sounds that are coming out of your instruments, and you're also seeing the sounds that are coming out of your partner's instruments as well. And so I'm curious, like, what is it like to, I just really like the idea of like creating these deep connections with people. And it
Mhm.
sounds like you do that, and having these like real meaningful creative experiences kind of working with others.
Yes. It's amazing when you're on that level with other people. It's something that is like a web of connection that you can visualize and interpret in some ways that are hard to comprehend. Um, but yes, I mean, I would, you know, I can still, reflect on these times where I would be playing, and we would have a loss of, sense of time and space and everything, and just be in a moment that is
Hmm.
totally like in being in a cloud, and like just evolving together in this format that's unwritten and untamed, and when you come out of it, you're like, you felt like you've been on this journey, and something beautiful has happened. Um, and yes, I mean, seeing the colors is something that I hadn't really tapped into until those early
Hmm.
moments, and it's like, I can explain like a fountain, basically, like a
Hmm.
fountain of uh, of water, but it looks like colors to me in
Sure.
different ways. So that's really cool, and yeah, the connecting with others and collaboration. I've been on that path for a while now, um, in bands and also just in writing music
Hmm.
and recording a lot. So I tend to thrive on the collaborative path, and I've had a lot of great experiences in different groups like that you mentioned, and I thrive off the experience of what other people have had in their life to bring to our meeting point, and
Hmm.
that creative point just starts to build this structure, um,
Right.
and it's really amazing because it's different with every person.
And then I'm curious, perhaps, so because one of the things we were talking about is the jams and like working with the people in just jam sessions privately. But then what happens when you add an audience?
Yeah, that's when things start to get very interesting. Um, I've done that as well. I've had live shows in front of large crowds and small crowds too. And them being there, um, they're there, and you're with them. That connection is very deeply happening. But there's also times where you just go into your own zone and then open your eyes, and you're with this entire group of people too, and that web is like formed, and everything's connected. Um, and it adds a little bit of anxiety. I want to say sometimes it's scary a little bit to see all these people out there looking at you playing, but also it changes. It's like when you hit the moments of beauty and connection, everyone's together and it's good, because you want it to be great for everybody in the crowd. So all of that, you know, just bursts out onto the stage, and you're just creating this fire, and like
Mm-hmm.
it's burning together with everybody's, I don't know, oxygen as the fuel or something. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
but I
And
think that the dosage makes a big difference.
oh, how so?
Well, I think that a lot of people that I know like to microdose before a show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we're going to the far points where we would privately, per se.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Um,
Makes sense.
I think so. We want to do a good job.
Yeah, for sure. And so I am curious about like what you have. I mean, I was looking at your schedule before the pandemic hit, and I think in January and February, you played with like 5 different projects, like all across the country. And
Yeah.
so you were like really working at like a high level with like a lot of different other high level people. And, I'm curious how those experiences, like those peak psychedelic experience, informs your work with on that level. How you could definitely say that you play well with others.
Hmm. Sure. I think that I have always liked to work well with others, even in group settings. Like I always like, even as a kid, and I remember in grade school, when we had the opportunity to do a group project, I was always way more excited about that than doing it by myself, just for whatever reason. It was just more fun to vibe with other people. And I think that now in music, where I'm at, um, you know, we play all the time, and whether we're on psychedelics or not, it's a group experiencing, very collaborative. But when we do, I'll make that agreement to take the journey together and go on that path before a show. That to me really means that we're already very bonded and close and comfortable with each other, and
Hmm.
we want to go on that extra step to closeness and trust in the jams. You know, there's so many arrangements and things in songs, and bands make those arrangements in music, musical arrangements is what I mean. And you're counting on each other to follow those arrangements as a trust thing and an agreement, and then go off into them and make the music happen. So I think that the collaborative element does. I
Hmm.
think we get inspiration and a crazy like feeling from all kinds of ways, and then it could be other spirits entering us and taking over, and that's cool. If they're on the journey with us and they want to take the ride, let's go. But I think that hey, it's a vehicle. Music's a vehicle, and
Hmm.
it's not just by cars, trucks, or buses. You know it's intergalactic.
It's intergalactic. And so what is the new album called?
Can't tell you yet, because
Can you tell me what some of the themes are that you explore?
yes, I can tell you that. Um, well, one of the themes is about coming and going, leaving and returning. It's really like a life on the road story.
Hmm.
Um, what it felt like that during that time period of like just the beginning of this year, and like I started writing it in January actually, um, and I was just constantly on the road and wanted to talk about what that was like,
Mm-hmm.
um, and so that's one of the themes. Another one is basically it's about people not well it's about people who have struggles with like certain health struggles and emotional struggles,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's about a story about an experience of knowing somebody and what they were going through and how difficult it can be for people who struggle with things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's another kind of theme that I have turned into there. So it's a little heavy, but fun. Also, it's a kind of an ironic thing because the songs are fun to listen to, and the
Mm-hmm.
music is really cool, but the stories are kind of serious.
Right. Well, I mean, that sort of empathy is important these days.
Hmm.
I mean, there's when you talk about coming and going, it's like what pops into my head is like loss. It's like, for everything that's gained or for every sacrifice we make, like there's going to be some sort of loss. And, people are feeling all of that in huge ways these days. Like,
Indeed,
you know, we don't,
indeed.
the future is uncertain.
Right. Very
Um,
fragile. I feel like life is fragile right now. So.
it
Hmm.
really is, peace and prosperity, are fragile, like all of these kinds of things that, um, we sometimes take for granted. And then also, so I sort of almost feel like that first song is maybe almost more, I mean, it's a personal story, but then it's like really, for the second one's like really, really personal and sort of like how we, like relate to our loved ones as they struggle,
Mm.
and how do we choose to show up?
Yeah, loved ones or anyone you love, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's definitely important to relate to them, even if you don't have those problems,
Mm-hmm.
to understand. So, and empathy that's a great word, and I think that it's what will heal the world. Really, is what we all have to have is empathy. It's for other people and not the hate, not the anger, not the intimidation. I hate that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So, um, yeah. And then the third song is actually it's a real fun song. It's about having a good time. It's about release. It's about joy. It's about energy. It's about um, dancing and under the light of the moon, things like that
Mm-hmm.
with your friends. And so that's another tune that's in there. And then the instrumental tune is something that I've actually been playing live recently already, with some of the groups I've been doing shows with over the few last couple shows that I've had. But
Mm-hmm.
and the name I can actually tell you the name of that song. It's called Glitter Pillow, and
Mm.
you can sort of make of that of it what you will because it's an instrumental song, and I don't really want to give it too much of a storyline, but you
Mm-hmm.
can sort of. What do you think of when you hear a glitter pillow?
Well, I don't think of actual glitter. I think of like those sequins that when you push it one way, it's one color, and you push it the other way, and it's the other.
Okay. Yeah.
And well, it just kind of makes, interestingly enough, it feels homey and cozy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's bringing me, of course, we've all been trying to, we've all been home a lot.
Yeah. Exactly. You look around, you
And
see things, you're like, oh.
and so it just feels like to me is like, one of like the sweet moments of home life. Amidst things like struggle, like it's not all, I mean, maybe I'm fortunate, but like it's not all struggle for me. That there is, love and connection and
Yeah.
coziness and hugs and
And
stuff.
the simple things, right?
Yeah.
Just seeing a pillow or a sequin thing and just going like this on it.
Hmm.
Why is that so enjoyable? It just is. It is. It's a simple joy.
Mm-hmm. Is that the kind of pillow you were talking about?
I do have one. I do have one. It's right there.
Oh, far out. Yeah, man. Although in my mind it was square.
Oh yeah, it's a rectangular, little stretched out square. Yeah, man. So that's those are the that's the theme. It just ended up being that way, and I like having diversity in my music. I always have.
Mm-hmm.
The Gary of the Galaxy album has a lot of different types of vibes on it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I like to just think is that hopefully it's my sound as a guitarist and voice, and the music is just fun for everybody and connects in some way. That's the main thing.
Right.
I hope
Well,
for.
well, yeah. I mean, you always like Shred is Dead, for example. Kind of, you like to play with the lineup a lot, and I think some of that has to do with where you are geographically, or what you're trying to express. Sometimes there's horns, sometimes there's not.
Yeah. hmm Yeah, that band is a very evolution, and it's very much an evolution. It's been 4-piece, it's been 8-piece. I've done it with a lot of different players of all different who bring a lot of different vibe to the table from where they come from musically.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's been a fun group to work with and create. And that gives me the chance to collaborate heavily with people who understand the music of the Grateful Dead, but also have other influences,
Mm-hmm.
jazz influences, and rock influences, and all kinds of things. I've had a tabla player from Chicago named Kalyan Pathak play shows with me, and it's been incredible. He is one of the best tabla players and percussionists that I've met,
Mm-hmm.
and he's amazing. I've played with Alan Acoyne from the Disco Biscuits on drums. He's done it with me. Jay Lane has played drums with me on a couple of gigs, and so.
Jay still holds the record for most pot smoked during a podcast episode.
Oh man, it's not the Guinness record, or is it just the show's record?
It's the Instrumental Breakthrough podcast record.
Okay.
I mean, I would put it up against just about any other podcast
Good.
with the possible exception of like a 5-hour Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, it's good. You gotta have Snoop Dogg on next, and he might beat you. He might beat Jay on that one.
Yeah, I mean, just text me his number. I'll get him on here immediately.
Yeah, I'll give him a call. He's a good friend.
But
That's cool.
It almost seems like I'm just kind of picturing a music festival, a day-long music festival where it's just your bands.
Wow, I like that.
Where it's like you're sort of band leader, conductor, it's sort of like a collective, some sort of experiment in musical communism or something. I don't know.
I'm a musical socialist, I'll tell you that. Okay. But that's a great idea. I like that. It could be a little, a festival, and just bring everyone down, do the projects, That's fun. I like that, because then it's very collaborative still, Bring everyone I've ever played with before and do a show and do a festival. That'd be really cool. I like that.
We just have to schedule in breaks for you.
Yeah, I need a double. I need a fill-in. Stunt
It's me. I just got a text from the tech guys who were like, "You guys look like you dressed up as each other for Halloween."
We're just brothers from other mothers,
Indeed. The only thing is, I know like 4 chords, but other than that, I'm ready to go.
Well, I can help you with that. I do teach, so I enjoy teaching. Got to put the master's degree to work, right?
Right.
Share the educational value of it. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, what do you play guitar? You actually do? What do you play?
I do actually play guitar.
What do you play?
I play Grateful Dead songs.
What kind of guitar do you have?
I have 2 acoustics that plug in.
Nice. Some acoustic electrics.
I have an Alvarez that's sort of a thin-bodied kind of. I think it's called a Silver Anniversary.
Okay, yeah, I know what that is.
And I have an Ovation.
Nice.
My dad's an engineer, and he really got a kick out of like the carbon fiber. I think the Ovation guy was also an engineer.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Actually, I carbon fiber. I have a carbon fiber acoustic as well.
mm,
Rain song. That's what I've had that for 20 years. You don't have to do any adjustments on it. It's pretty awesome.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big guitar guy. Obviously, I collect them to play them and use them. So I'll nerd out on guitar talk all the time.
I was looking at, there's a company that they basically send you all the pieces and you put it together yourself. And
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they
Parts
make one that
casters.
and they make like a little one, like with like a little tiny neck, but it's sort of a it's kind of, it's like a corgi of guitars.
Huh.
And I'm thinking about that because like I'm teaching the baby how to play
There you go.
already, and
Start him young.
he's figured out how to strum.
Good.
Um,
It's got rhythm, huh?
he
That's a good
actually does
sign.
have decent rhythm. Well, for several months he just grabbed the strings
That's
and
good.
yanked on them, and he has finally figured out how to sort of beat them, and he can get a 4/4 down.
That's a good sign.
So we bought
It's got a
him
lot of potential.
an Enya ukulele. And
Nice.
Enya makes these carbon fiber ukuleles so that he
Cool.
can't break it. And
Good.
so he'll be getting that for his first birthday in like 3 weeks.
I love that. That's awesome.
And then a couple years after that, I want to give him one of these like little tiny, like Telecaster-esque guitars.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. And I find that kids really take well to like things they can actually hit too, like xylophones, which are cool because they're like melodic, but they
Mm-hmm.
also have a percussive element to them. So I think that's great though.
Mm-hmm.
Start him young. I always say it's
Well,
good.
he has a hung drum too, like a steel drum that he really gets a kick out of.
That's great. That's another one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Xylophones, marimbas,
Mm-hmm.
steel pans.
Well, the pan is good because you don't need a mallet. Like the mallet's still a little difficult for him.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
the steel
Yeah.
drum, you just
Totally.
bangs. But he
Yeah,
has
kids
like,
like that.
I've realized that kind of like my go-to gift now for anybody of all ages, if I need to like bring somebody a little present, it's their birthday, I don't really know them that well or something, they're getting one of those little wooden frogs. I think that's a perfect gift for somebody of all ages. Like, who couldn't use one of those little wooden ribbit frogs?
Yeah. I mean, get him a little toad.
To bring it back to sort of, it's also, has sort of that psychedelic connotation.
Exactly. What is that called again? Someone was just telling me about their experience doing that. The extract.
5-MeO.
No, is that what they extract from the frogs out in the jungle?
There's Combo, which is a
Combo.
frog. Yeah.
Combo. Yeah, I've been hearing things about combo.
Hmm.
Haven't tried it, but seems pretty intense, but very positive from what I've heard.
Yeah, I'm not super into like burning my flesh.
Yeah.
There's something about that I can't get my head around.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't sound very fun.
You know, you would think that they could, yeah. I mean, I guess like in a lot of ways, like it's no big deal, but I don't care. I don't care for the idea.
Yeah. I like good old traditional. Mushroom goo is another fun thing that I don't know if you've heard about that, but it's pretty popular amongst musicians and it kind of healthy in a way as an alternative to things that other musicians choose.
You're not the only. Danny Mayer was telling me about the goo.
Yeah, cool. Love Danny.
Yeah,
Great player.
yeah, and yeah. I'm not a musician. Nobody's offered me any of that stuff yet. I get regular chocolates sometimes.
Yeah,
Other little goodies, but not not this fabled like
the
rockstar
fabled.
goo.
It's rockstar goo. I'm telling you. I mean, it's hard to get. It's apparently it's from Oregon.
No surprise there, really.
I mean, all good things come from Oregon.
Hmm.
All the best stuff's made in Oregon.
I had a friend who recently went mushroom hunting and came out with porcinis, like literally like this big, from Oregon.
delicious.
Yeah.
But yeah, it caters well to the creative process, particularly because it's not that intense,
Hmm.
but it's very fluid, and you don't there's no it's not like it's not tense in any way. It's very fluid and very chill and very um, it just feels great, and you don't have to eat, you don't have to taste, you know, that's the worst part of eating mushrooms by themselves is tasting them. So
Hmm.
you don't have to deal with that, and it's interesting. It's like a little caramel. It's like a little Tootsie Roll. And, you just rip a little piece off.
Hmm.
Rip. So
Convenient, easy to travel with, perhaps.
simple, easy,
Yeah.
breezy.
Yeah, you don't have to set yourself on fire.
No, have to burn yourself. There's no sadomasochism involved.
Hmm.
I'm just kidding. It's really nice. It's really great. It's positive. Musicians are that I know are who are just very sustainable and very health conscious.
Right.
Prefer that. So I do
Yeah,
too.
well, it's really interesting, like the science behind mushrooms these days is just like actually this stuff is like really good for you
Right.
and
Yeah.
like can help your brain produce new cells and neurons. It's healthy for your nervous system, fights Alzheimer's. Like who knew?
I, you know, just things like that they are medicines. I
Hmm.
feel so. You use them the right way, and it comes out of and turns out to be a positive experience.
Do you want to do you have a goo story?
Yeah, think of a good goose story. Um, well, over the summer, um, we went up to Buena Vista, Colorado, or
Hmm.
went down to Buena Vista, which is a cool place, cool town, and there's hot springs down there, and beautiful hiking and stuff like that, and we we had a small gathering of people, friends, close friends, and we brought instruments to a cabin out there.
Hmm.
And, very simple, but like the bonding feeling of being with your close friends and having a musical setup
In
with
nature.
with in nature, with no pressure, nothing but hot springs and just good vibes.
Hmm.
We did that. That was a good one this summer. Um, Dave Watts was with me,
Hmm.
and you know, he's a he's a really smart guy, really experienced guy. Um, and we both were playing with some other folks that are in Colorado, and proceeded to play throughout the nights and really experiment with sounds,
Hmm.
tribal jams, we and tablas. We got pretty far out, and just I don't know really how to say it, but it was just sort of a breakthrough time for us as playing together.
Hmm.
Um, creating that trust and more, and seeing people just vibing like crazy is just really
Right.
nice, especially in these times where there's not a lot of gigs and
Right.
ways to play. Like musicians got to play, and that's what we do.
So are there bits of this it's safe to say that there are bits of this cabin in this new album.
There are now, because yeah, the tracking was fully completed after that experience, and
Hmm.
so yeah, and still even now with mixing that's happening, that was a part of it for sure. I take those experiences with me. I don't. To me, they're not as much just there and gone. I always want to take something from the experiences
Hmm.
and build it into myself. Into my being
Right.
and overall happiness. Right. That's what it's all about. Doing what you love and being with people you love and stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah, because that overall happiness, there's that thing that I forget what the exact quote is, but it's something about like at the end of the day people remember how you made them feel.
Right.
And really nowhere is that more true than with music. You know,
Yeah.
people know how, like, you know, it's good to see a band and wake up in a good mood.
Right.
You know, it's
Hell
like,
yeah.
you know, still happy. You know, still was a fantastic, you know, such a time that I wake up in a good mood.
Yeah, or feel good for the rest of the month or the week.
Right.
You know, that's the goal. Just keep it going.
Indeed. So are there other projects we should know about other than like the EP that is the yet to be named EP?
No, that's my solo stuff. Then the Shred is Dead project
Mm-hmm.
is something that I'm doing a lot. I'm going to be announcing some shows that actually are going to be very socially distanced, safe shows as we've been doing. In Colorado with Kris Myers from Umphreys, doing my original stuff November 13th um, at New Conscious in
Mm-hmm.
Denver, Colorado. And I think we're gonna have another show in Steamboat the next night,
Mm-hmm.
so look out for that. And then some more shows actually the week after. It looks like we're gonna be announcing some shows in California um, around November 18th, 19th, 20th weekend. So stay
Very
tuned for
cool.
that. It's gonna be a really cool show. If everything works out, it's safe for everyone.
Right.
Um, and then hopefully in Chicago as well, you know, pending all the things that are on the table. But yeah, I've got me and Kris Myers will be playing a lot this month, and you know, other projects. I'm doing something out here in Colorado with a great female vocalist. Her name's Melly Francis. We're writing some original stuff that's in the vein of Bonnie Raitt, sort of a Tedeschi Trucks vibe, which we really like and respect that
Hey,
a lot.
dudes.
Very cool.
We
Yeah. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff coming on, and um, I'm constantly collaborating out here with people. Dave Watts and I have been writing original music,
Mm-hmm.
so that we released a bunch of stuff this year already. So that's you know. And there's just a lot of other things that I'm constantly working on. So yeah,
Right. And can people are like real people allowed to have music lessons with you?
absolutely. I offer music lessons to anyone who's
Mm-hmm.
who's interested and willing to, you know, take the ride and put the work in.
Right.
So yes, I do Zoom lessons. I've had quite a big demand since things slowed down from life, as we say.
Mm-hmm.
People were not at work all the time, so it was easier. And I was on the road, and so I was able to be at home to teach a lot. So that sort of started. And if anyone would like to contact me, feel free to go through my website, you know,
Right.
marcusrezak.com, MarcusRezak, and you can send me a message or even sign up right there if you'd like to. And I will teach you anything from music theories
Mm-hmm.
to songs you want to learn. And I can teach you all my tips and tricks and go from there.
Right on. I think I'm going to wait a couple of years before I sign the kid up. Who's the youngest person you've taught?
I've taught as early as 6 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a 6-year-old. Well, he's actually 7 now, but he's in the United Kingdom, and his name's Boaz, and he's a really cool kid and a really smart kid. And I enjoy working with people who are smart and young with a mind that is open to possibilities. His mom's really cool. She's there, you know, in the lessons like and stuff. So got the young kiddos, and I've got older people who are, you know, my age and
Mm-hmm.
beyond, you know, as
Right.
far as 60, 70 years old too. So, and I do band coaching, you know, stuff like that,
Nice.
help bands get to where they want to be.
I'm actually currently looking for a teenage mentor. I'm not kidding.
Uh,
I'm starting to get old and I'm starting to feel like I need someone who's going to be like, no, grandpa, not, you need to like think, you're not thinking about that.
There's a lot of badass young musicians out there right now on the
Mhm.
internet doing things, you know. So those are good influences, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I just can't have a 15-year-old on this podcast talking about like the time they got high in the cabin.
I don't, you know, they need to talk about it with somebody. So
Yeah, they do. They do indeed. Um, so, one last, like, let's, before the gateway to the galaxy closes,
yes,
before the portal vanishes off into the ethers, um, do you have one last kind of inspirational psychedelic download for the people?
yes, yes, yes. Let me go into the memory banks here. I told you about those two awesome experiences. I guess. Um, no, actually, we talked about. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that another time when I was, gosh, well,
Doesn't necessarily have to be a story. It could be just, something you said you like to take something away and make it part of yourself.
mm-hmm.
Maybe just a takeaway that we can take away, and so that this becomes part of us.
Sure, sure. Well, I would say this: be willing to go beyond your comfort zone
Mm,
and take chances, and be willing to go go beyond your normal daily life and self, and find things that inspire you so deeply that it makes you feel like you have a fire inside of you that just keeps burning that you can't put out. You know, um, I think that people get really stuck in their normal lives and stuff like that, and it's hard for people to find happiness in repetition that is challenging. So we need to take these breaks and these moments to really recharge ourselves constantly and be willing to go beyond ourselves in normal life. And for me, that's been something I've done a lot and taken to another level. And I feel like I just can't ever sit still. I can't just do nothing. I can't, just sort of, let time pass, and time's short. So I feel like make every moment impactful, take chances, create things, and spread as much love as possible.
beautiful. Thanks for spreading love with us here today.
Thank you. I
I
really had a
appreciate
great
all your,
time.
yeah, I appreciate your generosity with your time and sharing all your stories with us. I'm sure our listeners do too.
Thank you.
And we can have a quick debrief. They'll turn off the stream and we'll just have another little this and that. But everybody, you've been listening to Instrumental Breakthroughs. Our guest Marcus Rezak. You know where to find him, and and this has been a production of Deadheadland TV. Please visit deadheadland.com and deadheadland.tv. There's a wide variety of musical programming for your love and enjoyment. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much, Marcus.
Thank you too. Thanks everybody.